Tommy,
How we doing, man?
how you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, dude. We had Raw after Mania, dude. What a weekend it's been. What an entire weekend. I think just of wrestling for anybody. If you're a WWE fan, if you're Ring of Honor fan. I mean, this weekend was really kind of re-sparked my love for wrestling, I'd say.
Well, we're going to talk more about that. This is the fourth and last consecutive nights we are going on air this week. It has been busy. It's been a long day today.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get this show started. We are live. It is 11:09 p.m.
Oh boy.
Eastern time
On
in New
Monday,
York.
April 4th.
April 4th, the
Yeah.
4th of
The
April.
fourth event, there's no reason that I'm pointing that out at all.
No
Not at all.
whatsoever.
Not at all.
None whatsoever. But we're gonna get this show started. We got some things to talk about tonight.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah,
ready to
yeah.
go?
We were talking about it to start. Before we started the show. Tonight was an interesting night. There was some stuff
Hold
that
up.
happened. We gotta give
Are
us
you
something here.
ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six. That could be a delivered this deep six.
A special edition of the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast coming to you live. WrestleMania weekend is over. We just got done watching Monday Night Raw,
Yeah,
and a pretty decent show it was. But this is the start of the new year. This is the start of the new year. From today on is the build to next year's WrestleMania. I'm excited. We got some things to talk about. Let's start
Yeah.
with the Roman Reigns promo, really
Yeah,
quick.
man.
We'll do that, and then we'll talk about the rest of the show. Roman Reigns, Dallas, huge pop tonight in Dallas.
Yeah.
Great reception. Roman Reigns looks like $1 million with those two belts. You could tell when Roman Reigns came out.
Still hurting a little.
He was cringing.
Yeah.
He is definitely hurting when he was lifting up those two arms. But he came out. He looked great. Great pop. And Paul Heyman, always good on the mic, selling the heck out of Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns goes on talking about how he is going to be, it's all about progression and how he's the tribal chief and that he's going to let everybody know what the next step is. So I talked about it this weekend and was thinking that quite possibly, The Rock would come out and the end of Sunday night, which could have made sense. The end of tonight, which could have made sense. But then we didn't get that.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Roman Reigns says that he's going to let everybody in on the next step this Friday night on SmackDown. I'm wondering if we get a Rock appearance this Friday night on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Just because WWE and the Fox Network, specifically the Fox Network, would rather have The Rock on Fox 5 than on USA.
Yeah. It's a bigger audience for the first Rock return that we've seen in what would that be? Almost 3 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
I don't know exactly.
Something like that. But besides the point. But yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think that we may come off, fanboying, I guess, and marking out in the fact that The Rock's coming out, but it does.
We know what's gonna happen.
It does still make sense. We
just
said it.
Figure out when.
Yeah, like we said it. I think I made the comment that this is the biggest match WWE has left, and it is. If you look at their entire roster, there is not a single match that you could put together of any star that is not on even close to being on the level of Rock Roman. I mean, the storyline's there. It's the match that you could really build an entire year up for and be completely okay with. I was kind of expecting it tonight, especially when it was announced that Roman was going to be in the main event. But I mean, I'd be honest if I said, or I'd be lying if I said I wasn't somewhat intrigued by what's going to happen on Friday. I may not watch the whole show, but I'll at least, catch the moment where Roman comes out to see what's next. I think that's the great thing about wrestling is we want to be invested in a storyline. And I could say that I'm invested in what we see with Roman. I mean, the dude's been the longest reigning champ in 7-8 years since Punk's reign that lasted 400 days. Like this has been a history making title reign, and yeah, I'm invested in seeing what's next. So you can catch me tuning in on Friday night.
Once again, we got a comment from Dave Smith, the Hook Bros.
Of course.
My hair's not messy. Oh, there it is. It's getting there. There we go.
Nah. If you can't tell by the lowered voice and the tired eyes, it's been a very long weekend for me and Wayne. Yeah,
it has been a long weekend.
It has been, but it has been an enjoyable weekend. I don't know if I could say that the last few years about the entire experience of WrestleMania, but yeah, this entire weekend, man, it was long, but it was definitely worth it. This is our 4th night in a row of podcast, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sure. This is our 4th night in a row. Awesome. So what did you think of the championship match last night? Because I know you had to leave before.
Popped out.
Yeah.
Had it been anything better, I honestly do think that from a general consensus standpoint, it would have been one of the top 5 WrestleManias of all time. For myself, it is just from an enjoyment factor. And that's saying that with the main event, I'm just going to be honest, it was a dud. I think somebody on Reddit posted that there was a total of 7 moves. It was just a finisher spam. I was sitting in here commenting in our living room with my roommate on just how much the same moves are being used over and over. Here comes the finisher. Here comes the Superman punch. Like, it just never ended. And, I know Roman got hurt or and we don't know the extent of that. Obviously, now that we've seen what happened on Monday, today, like, he's still feeling the effects of that. But the match just kind of ended. Like, he was trapped in the Kimura. And, it looked like there was a good 10, 15 minutes left of the match. I honestly thought with the way that they were building it up and Brock, like, specifically mentioning in his promo, like, I want blood. Like, I thought this was going to be an absolute beatdown, probably one of the closer things we've seen to a PG-13 style, TV 14 rating match in the WWE in a long time. And it just wasn't. It was just... It'll sound weird for me to say this, but I honestly think you could have put any other match on from last night's card in the main event, and I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. There were better matches involving celebrities, maybe not from an in-ring standpoint, but from an entertainment standpoint, that were a lot better than this Brock Lesnar and Roman match, which sucks because they've obviously been working towards this story for 7 years. I mean, this match had so much hype built around it. And, as I was sitting there watching it, I started to really realize, like, yeah, this is probably the biggest match that WWE has booked in a few years, just from the fact that we've never seen a champion this long into a reign going up against somebody who could, Brock beat the streak. Like, Brock's done so much in his career in the last few years. Like, this really is probably the biggest match that they've had in a long, long time. Maybe not since Roman Cena, but I guess that was just, this is WrestleMania. I think you know what I'm saying, and the fact that this just was a really big match and it had a lot of importance behind it, and it just kind of was a dud to me. I think I would have given it maybe 2.5 stars.
I just say I wonder what Dave Meltzer gave it.
Probably 1.5 if I have to know Dave's
Wow.
star rating system.
Mm.
It didn't like completely ruin WrestleMania for me, but I honestly think if it came anywhere close to living up to its billing as this big match, the consensus would be that this was a really, really good WrestleMania. I think we can all agree that this is the
Yeah.
best one since 31. And if you don't like 31, then
Yeah.
it's the best one since 30. But this pay-per-view really, this WrestleMania with a solid main event could have been a top 5 WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah, it definitely could have. I mean, I think I have it in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah. And I said it's in
Um,
my top 5 just based on an enjoyment factor and how excited
Yeah.
I was throughout the entire week. But with the bias of that aside, it was still a very, very solid WrestleMania.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So let me ask you, what are the chances that we get The Rock this Friday night? And if not, how do we book him?
Uh, I think the chances are still pretty high. I think they can be done. I almost expect Roman to, it to be a red herring announcement. Like he's going to announce, like, I don't know. We'll either see Rock or Brock. I'll tell you that much. I'm sure of that. But if he doesn't come out on Friday and you don't take the whole year to build it, I think I don't know where SummerSlam is, but that seems like the next logical step. Because you got to also think that, at least the way I'm looking at it, is we're not going into WrestleMania with Rock with Roman being the champion. I think he loses the belt before then.
Really, I don't know.
I
I don't know. That's a good
I
question.
know
Who
he's
beats him?
built up as like this final video game boss and everything. I don't know if I really trust WWE to build for 2.5 years of a champion. I would be 100% down to see it. I really would, because that just means that, he would beat The Rock again, and I think that they could still go. But I think we'll either see Cody or Edge be the guy who takes the title off of Roman down the line this year.
I
And
don't
then we
think it
go into
happens
Rock
this
Roman
year.
with no title, and you can still just build it off of just the family angle.
So let's take a look. So we have SummerSlam in Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
We're at in Tennessee.
Nashville. We have
I'm very surprised by that.
Survivor Series in Boston.
It's
So
not happening at Survivor Series.
yeah, I mean, I was talking to Gage last night. We were thinking about locations, where the next big upcoming shows are going to be. And there's really nothing that screams where The Rock would show up. But I'm thinking Roman Reigns could come out this Friday night and throw down a challenge for next year to, be like the undisputed top of the family, like something that he needs to achieve.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up the I'm trying to look up the location here. I did not see, or if it was announced
For
where
SmackDown?
Royal Rumble would be next
Oh,
year.
man, I don't know if they could wait
Because
that
I'm
long for The
thinking the
Rock.
latest case scenario is the worst case scenario. You could have The Rock show up at the Royal Rumble and as number 30, surprise entrance, win, challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then of course The Rock would lose to Roman Reigns. Reigns would be considered the undisputed head of the table for sure.
I just don't know if you can wait that long until the Rumble, and I don't know if that storyline deserves that. I almost feel like The Rock, like the latest you can do is SummerSlam, and that's also
Well, not
saying
as a
that.
match though.
Well, no, but I'm talking about him showing up just from the fact that if you're booking him to show up at the Royal Rumble, That's you hoping that he doesn't have any filming, commitments in April, and you're not making that decision until January. So I think the latest you can do at least start the build is SummerSlam. I think we're either getting him tonight or tonight, either getting him on SmackDown Friday, getting him at SummerSlam, or we're not getting him at all this year.
This year, but
I mean, like all going into WrestleMania. I think that there's if they don't book it by SummerSlam, I don't think that there's time in the Rock's schedule. I'm looking at it from he's also a Hollywood actor, and that you can't.
What would the Rock schedule have to do with this year, next year? Like, if he's not freed up this year, what would that have to do with WrestleMania weekend? If he has time WrestleMania weekend to fight,
well, if
you could essentially insert the Rock in at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble.
Well, okay, but look at it now. You start filming movies like 6 months in advance. If you were to announce it on Friday that, hey, The Rock's coming out, we're going to build this for a year, you have enough time to say, okay, we don't want you taking any film shoots or anything that would, break up your chance of being at WrestleMania on April blankety blank, whatever the day is. But if you are sitting there after SummerSlam and, he's halfway through a film, and they're doing rapping and you're like, well, we want The Rock. That's when, insurance starts to come in and the directors and stuff, they just won't let him leave. That's kind of the problem that they've run into.
But that's the convenience of WrestleMania being in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, but Hollywood, like, he would still have to not get injured. And the last time that he was injured or, wrestled on a major match at WrestleMania, he tore his pec.
Yeah. Well, we definitely do know that there are clauses in play for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I am fully 100% confident we're getting Rock versus Reigns.
I still am too.
I'm just trying to figure out when do we start building this?
Yeah, I just think that the cutoff date is SummerSlam. I do still think that this is the match that we get.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, moving on. Tonight was the annual post show. There was some good in this show.
There was Veer. Veer came.
There was, like I said, there was some bad. But the show opens up with Cody Rhodes. What did you think of his promo?
I liked it a lot, man. I thought it was good. I think the reasoning of him being back in WWE is it makes sense. He wants to hold the title. He never got that chance. I mean, the crowd kind of seemed pretty hot for him starting the show. Yeah, I had no problems with it. I'm excited to kind of see who his first opponent is. I'm excited to see what they do with the Seth Rollins interaction that they had at the end with just the handshake and no words said. Outside of welcome back or welcome home, I think is what he said. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to what they do with him. But I thought it was a good promo. I think it was the right choice to start off Raw too.
I don't think that Cody and Seth Rollins continue their feud. I think that the handshake was mutual respect.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
You don't want to trap somebody into getting losses. You don't want to have Cody lose too early and have them do a best of 3, and you don't want to have Rollins take two straight losses, back to back. It just wouldn't really make sense. So yeah, I agree with you. I think this was more of a good match kind of thing, but get ready because you're gonna be facing a lot of good dudes here at WWE.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you could do a return match next year at WrestleMania if you want to. It's an idea. So great promo. I was definitely invested into it for sure. Cody Rhodes, seemingly the direction he wants to go is to win a title. Did you get the reference with the Stardust?
Yes, of course. I loved it.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was pretty cool. He's hinting at AEW star that left them in the dust.
Yeah,
but that was pretty cool. Good promo. I was excited to see him come out. Good way, best way to start Raw for sure. But then we have another promo a little later on. Kevin Owens comes out
Yeah.
talking about how he's the greatest, how he made a mistake. Stone Cold beat him so bad, and but that he's still the greatest and what have you. And then on the Titantron, the camera pans to the entrance, and we see the name Ezekiel on the screen. I'm thinking to myself, who the heck is
It's Ezekiel
Ezekiel?
Jackson, man. I honestly thought that's who it was.
Like he comes out, I'm like, who is this guy? And then the camera finally zooms in. I'm like, is that Elias?
It's Elias, man.
What
No,
the frick
it's his
did
younger brother.
WWE do to him?
It's his younger brother Ezekiel. What a story! I'm very very interested to see what they do with this.
Oh, so
How stupid
stupid!
and how
It's
quick he's gonna get
ridiculous.
released.
Elias looks horrible.
He's gonna get released within. I'm gonna give it a month. That's awful,
Oh
but
my!
yeah,
It's so bad.
what
It's
an
so. What are they gonna do
interesting.
with him? What is Kevin Owens gonna have a match with Ezekiel at Backlash?
I always liked Elias in the ring. I wasn't like against him. It'd just be I don't know. If they turn him full comedy and have him like switch off to where like on Fridays he's as Elias and on Mondays he's Ezekiel. Now that would be great. I would love that. You know, fake beard and everything, but that I guess that's just wishful thinking.
That would be interesting to see how they pull that off. Absolutely,
Only on Fridays, you know. Only one day of the week that he gets to be the other character.
that would be pretty interesting. But this is horrible, though. This is
Yeah.
I was not a fan. We see Kevin Owens do the countdown, then he leaves the ring. From there, then moving on, we had Sasha and Naomi defeat Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Now, let me tell you something. Liv Morgan looked better tonight than last night. She looked like a clown last night. I gotta put it. She looked like a
Oh
freaking
my
clown
god.
with that makeup. Was horrible. Looked a little bit more normal today. I was happy. Anyhow, we see the dissension between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan because of the miscommunication that led to Liv Morgan getting pinned in a ring, leading to Sasha and Naomi winning. Rhea Ripley leaves the ring frustrated,
Yeah.
with and very unhappy. Later on, we see Rhea and Liv make up, and Rhea tells Liv Morgan he talked to Adam Pearson to give them a tag title next week, so that's happening. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Sasha Banks and Naomi next Monday night on Raw. So I have a feeling this is how it's going to play out. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan are going to take another loss against
Yeah.
Sasha and Naomi, and Rhea Ripley is going to turn on Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I think we see you know, there's been a lot of rumors on her joining the new Edge stable with Damian Priest.
Rhea.
And I think Rhea. And I think that we might maybe not see the seeds of that start to go next week, but I agree with you. I fully think that this is leading up to a heel turn and, you know, a split between these two, which is fine. You know, they're another short tag team.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks because you want them to keep tag teams around, but when it's two stars who have been, you know, near the main event for the better part of the last 2 years or around it, or at least just two recognizable names, I think we're going to see the same thing with Naomi and Sasha. I think it's going to be a quick title reign, and then they're going to break up because it just makes sense for them to be single stars.
But sure, I mean, being a tag, Rhea Ripley being in a tag team, it's not doing Rhea Ripley any favors.
Yeah, no, and neither for Liv Morgan. I think she's done a good job in this year. You know, kind of moving from that mid card to main event spot, and it just doesn't really do either of them the best to be in a tag team, especially in a division that no one cares about. Like, and I say that not in like a sexist or anything way. It's just that no one, WWE doesn't even care. Like the wins, losses, they don't matter. Like they pick a new champion, you know, whenever they want to. And that's what we're seeing here. It's like, what do you say? Strange bedfellows?
Yeah. Yep. So So all is well with them two girls, but next week I am fully expecting a turn.
Yeah.
Speaking of turns, we saw Carmella and Queen Zelina turn on each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm done with Carmella being on
Freaking
Carmella
Carmella
and Corey
and
Graves.
Corey
Hey, you know
Graves
what? You know what?
making out.
It is a direct answer to AEW with Sammy and Ty Conti. The whole like we have sex. That is exactly what this storyline is, and I hate it. It is awful. This has no need to be on TV. Like I get it. Like try to answer every side of the entertainment world, but it's just not needed, and nobody really cares about Corey Graves or Carmella. So I don't know. I was not a fan of their extended 20-second makeout scene that they had.
Oh, you sure about that?
Yeah,
Is it just? Am I seeing what I thought I saw? Did Kansas City? Did Kansas win?
they're about to. Yes.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah.
4.6 seconds left. North Carolina is down by 3.
Correct.
Who has possession?
Kansas.
Oh boy. Okay, so that's not good. Yeah, Kansas is about to
Yeah.
win that. NXT title on the line. Dolph Ziggler defended against Braun Breaker. We see Robert Roode getting involved. Good match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good match between the two. I feel like WWE was testing Braun Breaker out tonight on the
Yeah.
Monday night stage with a match of a high caliber, and I felt like for the most part Braun Breaker delivered, and he had a very impressive moonsault to the outside that landed on Robert Roode. Um, Worked very good. Both these two guys worked very good in the ring. A couple false finishes that resembled NXT Stand and Deliver of a finish that they did on Saturday, which enabled Dolph to win. They did the same exact finishing move tonight to tease a false finish, and Braun Breaker kicked out,
Yeah.
and he ended up getting the win. He looked great. He new NXT champion. This makes him, I believe, two-time
7
NXT
months.
champion
Two
now.
times in 7 months.
Yeah. So where do we go from here with Braun Breaker? Do we see him every Monday night now? I'm wondering. What do you think is going to happen?
No, I think he stays on NXT. I think you hit it on the head. I think this was just kind of a a way to get him on Raw and kind of showcase what they have with NXT. I liked it. I thought, I saw a lot of people complaining about why didn't they do this on Saturday? Like, what's the point? It's just an extra, way to get more eyes on the NXT brand and get more eyes on. We all know he's a future star, Braun Breaker. I have no problem with this match. I thought it was good. I think the storytelling the continuity of the storytelling at least was consistent, coming from Saturday. And yeah, I had no problems with this match, man. I really do think Breaker's going to be a star, but I think we're going to see him stay on NXT. I don't think this is going to be a weekly thing.
Do we think that Braun Breaker is involved in the next draft?
Yes.
If there is one.
Yes.
I think
so. I do.
I think so. I think that's the way you bring him in at this point. And listen, we still have SmackDown coming up this Friday. We didn't even see. I think Bailey shows up on SmackDown.
We didn't see Ciampa either. Tommaso Ciampa.
We didn't see Ciampa. So we still have a show on Friday. It's the Friday after Mania. I think we're going to get a couple more appearances.
Yeah, I think it's going to be shaping up to be a pretty good show. There's intrigue around it, which is what you want in a wrestling show. You always want somebody to be intrigued by what you got going on.
What WWE did tonight is they left a hook.
Pun intended.
They left a hook. So now they got you hooked to catch Friday night to see what Roman Reigns got to say in his promo.
Exactly.
This coming Friday. And WWE um, doesn't do hooks that often, like lately, and I'm very happy about how Raw went off the air. They left you wanting to watch Friday Night SmackDown to see what the heck Roman Reigns wants to talk about. So yeah, Dave, no call ups tonight. We did see Braun Breaker, but it's not an official call up. And then we got Veer showing up.
We got
Um,
Veer.
yeah, we got Veer. So basically, what happened with that? We had The Miz versus Dominic Mysterio in a squash match, and Dominic Mysterio botched that. He didn't land 100% the right way on the ropes, and then I think he was supposed to land on his neck. He barely even touched the rope when he landed. So that was a little botched there at the end, which then led Miz putting on the skull crushing finale on Miz on Dominic Mysterio. Miz getting the win, um, and then you see Rey Mysterio tending to Dominic, and then out comes Veer Mahan, and Miz wisely gets out of the ring, the heel that he is, and Rey Mysterio is protecting and defending Dominic with in the Veer Mahan and Rey Mysterio are getting into it. Uh, Veer Mahan absolutely dominating both Dominic and Rey Mysterio in that ring, setting up a Raw for next Monday night, which I believe Veer Mahan's definitely going to squash Rey Mysterio for sure. You know that is absolutely happening. Any thoughts on Veer Mahan?
Veer came and he saw and he conquered. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, anything that might interest you with him at all, or
Uh, I honestly do like his finisher a lot. I thought the submission was an interesting look.
I forgot what they called it, but it's like a modified camel clutch.
Yeah. I forget the name, but I thought it was good. I mean, I guess if you're gonna be put into a squash match, like if you're gonna be trying to build up as a star, like beating up on Rey Mysterio isn't the worst choice. So we'll see. I think the character has a chance to get over just from the fact that he's spawned so many memes on social media. Um, but he just seems like another, wash character in a few months, at least to me.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of favor like Omos a lot
Yeah.
better than that. Um, but yeah, we had the promo with Bianca Belair, and she's coming out. She's basically doing a celebratory promo. Um, she had a black eye, and I loved her promo. I was just saying with like one eye open. I came in. I defeated Becky. I'm here with one eye open as your champion, and I just thought she delivered on such a great promo tonight.
Yeah, it's good. I'm excited to see where she goes from here. I like there's some people when you get to where it's, the chase is a lot better than the actual winning of the title belt. And I think we kind of saw that with Becky and even kind of with Bianca in her first run. So it'll be interesting to see how this one works. But I mean, she's put on 2 classic WrestleMania matches in back-to-back years. So I mean, she's on the run of a lifetime, and I'm excited to see if this championship run can be a little different from the last, and she'll actually have a good, there's some good people around it. If Ronda decides to stay around, I think that works. Obviously, Becky's going to be around for a little bit. Once she returns, I'm going to imagine she takes a few months off to be a mom again, but I think Becky would be a good one. Obviously, Bailey's coming back, and if we want to do some interbrand stuff, let's throw in Mandy Rose. Let's build her back up. She's been doing pretty damn good on NXT. So yeah, man, I think there's a lot of potential with this title belt reign.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And yeah, great showing by Belair. Belair and Becky Lynch arguably had probably the best match in all of WrestleMania this year. You could argue a case for Seth Rollins against Cody Rhodes possibly having the best match. You could even state a case for Edge and AJ Styles quite possibly having the best match of the weekend for sure. These girls tore it up. My favorite match had to have been Belair versus Becky with Belair winning. I think that
Yeah,
was my favorite match of the
yeah.
weekend.
Well, it's up there for me. It definitely is up there.
Um, oh, we didn't talk about it. The Usos and Austin Theory defeat Finn Balor and RK Bro.
Yeah, another really solid match. I mean, when you put 6 guys in the ring, 5 of them being champions, you're gonna have a good match. And I think the right guy went over with Austin Theory, kind of extend his story of still being Mr. McMahon's new chosen one. I thought it was right that he got the win. So yeah, man, good match, really good match.
You think Austin Theory is going to be the guy
Yes.
that's going to be close to main event scene by this time next year?
By next year, maybe not.
I'm thinking. I
I think
think
I
he's
wouldn't
probably
be
going to be through
surprised
the
if he had
WrestleMania 40s.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had a main event in the sense of like kind of how like Ricochet fought Brock Lesnar, or we saw the Mysterios fight Roman Reigns. Maybe like a one-off match, but I don't see him being a complete main event star by this time next year. But I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I mean, I could see Austin Theory being one of the bigger stars once we enter into the WrestleMania 40s for sure.
Yeah.
And of course, we believe that Roman Reigns will probably still be there. And Braun Breaker will be the guy, one of the next stars. And I don't even know. We talked about big matches. Do we possibly get a match out of John Cena coming up like next year? I meant to ask you that if we did not get
I
a
think
match with Reigns, like, could we do anything with Cena at all?
I think honestly, you know what I'd love to see that would sell a lot of SummerSlam tickets? Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. And I think that's a possibility. I think if Cody isn't in the title picture, like hasn't won it by then, or isn't fighting Roman at SummerSlam, which I think is another great match you could have. I think Cena and Rhodes would be a fantastic match. It's kind of one that we haven't seen. And again, another one of those matches that like top 3, top 5 of what WWE has left to book at this stage of matches that either we haven't seen or that people want to see, or both. And I think that this is probably 2 of the bigger stars. The guy that I think is kind of revitalized and don't take this the wrong way, but brought indie wrestling back into the forefront, and obviously was a big part of bringing all these indie wrestlers into AEW and starting that. So he's been probably one of the more recognizable faces of indie wrestling since 2016 or so. And I mean, it's John Cena. John Cena's been the face of WWE for better part of 15 years. So I think that could be a really good match we could see. I don't know when we see Cena, but yeah, I do expect to get one more match out of him, at least this year. I'm still waiting. It seems like he wants to do one more full-time run, and I think that's still a possibility and something that we're going to see, but I don't know if that's this year.
We had the Street Profits going against Alpha Academy in the tornado match. Pierce came out and made it a tornado match. I missed the beginning part of the segment. I'm assuming Alpha Academy attacked Street Profits.
Correct.
Okay, because Street Profits were looking a little bit down and out once I saw the TV.
Yeah, before the bell.
But they were kind of like standing still in the corner.
Yeah.
And then That's when Pierce came out. Pretty good match there. Oh man, Montez Ford tore it up with that swanton onto the outside. So that was a really good move there.
Yeah.
Great match. Loved every bit of it. So that pretty much covers the Raw wrap up, the Raw after Mania. So I wasn't very overwhelmed by this Raw.
Yeah.
I've seen bigger Raws. I think you made mentioned early about the fans. We even got a comment about how Raw was weak tonight. I wouldn't fully say it was weak, but there was some good and there was some bad. There
Yeah.
was some intriguing stuff.
Yeah.
They left you wanting to find out what's going to happen this Friday, as far as the next move for Roman Reigns. Again, uh, decent Raw. I'm not too sure if I really call it a WrestleMania caliber Raw.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And the
fair.
fans were not into it,
Yeah.
and I think you made mention to it because the international fans really make like the experience,
Yeah.
the fan experience for sure. And hijack every segment. Then Damian Priest's segment with Edge. The fans are hijacked. We're almost hijacking that, but
Well,
we got a very
to
good segment
to
there.
to a point of being annoying. Like that's too much. Like just let them do their promo. I was kind of taken away by that one.
Edge kind of saved that promo.
Yeah, and I appreciate them acknowledging it and keeping the heel character work throughout, but it just stop trying to hijack every segment. Stop trying to make it, like have fun, but like there was just the energy that was whatever energy was in the crowd was put towards every wrong segment that it shouldn't have been put towards.
For sure.
If that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to next year's WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
I have no clue what that. I mean, we'll definitely be on the podcast, but we're both going to be there. I'm hoping you're going to be there too.
Yeah, man.
I
I'm
plan
planning on
being
it.
there. We'll be hanging out with Chris Van Vliet, hopefully.
Yeah.
Next year's WrestleMania is going to come. Those tickets go on sale 6 months from now, so next year's WrestleMania is going to roll around fast. But before we go, we got some big breaking news, Tommy.
What is that?
I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Hold on. So the breaking news, it's Tommy's birthday in 8 minutes.
It is.
8 minutes.
Yes,
so
sir.
It is Tommy's birthday. Tommy, before we end this show, we want to wish you a happy birthday. I was going to try to stretch this till 12.
I
am
appreciate it,
tired, man.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
you're
feeling
tired.
you can see it over here. I'm yawning.
Tired.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. I really do.
4 nights in a row. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 nights in a row.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We went harder than any podcast out there, except for maybe Fightful, because they've been doing 2-hour clips for 4 nights in a row, and we'll get there.
Well, yeah, one day.
We were one of the busiest podcasts around, period.
Yeah.
Nobody did 4 nights in a row, but we did. And
we killed it every night, man. I had a lot of fun. I think it helped that, just WrestleMania in general was just a damn good show. It really was. Like I keep saying it, and now that I've had a night to sleep and think about it, like my expectations for this show were pretty high, and I think it's just from the fact that we didn't get to have fans after Raw or on the SmackDown before last year. This was in AT&T Stadium. This had some big matches kind of built up for it. My expectations, I feel like, were at a high point, but it was, they were supposed to be there. It's WrestleMania. Like, this is the biggest show of the year. And I think for the first time in a good while, I can actively say that not only am I excited to go back and watch WrestleMania, but I'm excited for the stuff that's coming after WrestleMania. I've tweeted about it, or I think I posted it on Facebook. I watched a Raw, in 2022, and Cody Rhodes is standing there, doing a promo to open it. I mean, like, if you want to talk about intrigue, like, you got me right there. I want to watch SmackDown. Like, this is the first time I think in a long time I've been really satisfied with the way that WrestleMania kind of turned out. This was a good show. It was a damn good show.
Very good weekend.
Yeah.
So this is the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, sponsored by Back Sports Page. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. For those that love wrestling, please help us out and give us a like, comment, share. We are available, of course, on Twitter, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more.
Hey, man, I got to get one more question for you, though, because I know we're going to be taking a break, for a few weeks, and I'm not going to be able to ask you. How's it feel to know that you're going to be third year in a row of watching the Rays win the division this year? Third year. 3 years in a row. I mean, they'll win the World Series too. So, Wander Franco, AL MVP. I mean,
again, the Red Sox knocked off your team this past playoff.
Hey, that's fine.
So
that's fine.
You can win the divisions you want, but you gotta win the big one.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Big one.
That's very true.
The Red Sox win a World Series every 4 or 5 years, so we're trying to
win this
year or next year.
No, it's not this year. I'll tell you that much. We got one more good year in us.
We'll have to see.
I'm excited, man. We got
baseball starts this week.
You guys got the Yankees on Thursday?
We have the Yankees in Yankee Stadium the next 4 days, starting Thursday.
So you guys got a Friday night baseball or primetime game on Thursday?
Thursday a day game, Friday night, Saturday a day game, and I think Sunday a day or night
game. Friday's got to be Friday night baseball. There's got to be a big game.
For sure.
Yeah.
Friday night's usually a night game. So
I think we got Baltimore and Tampa starting on Friday, at 3:00. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be
That's a good way to start the season again.
Yeah, Baltimore. Really, exactly. But just the fact that we had such a good WrestleMania, and now baseball season starting after it seemed like we may not get that. Like, this is a good time to be a sporting fan and just be us too. Our teams both being in the same division and both being really, really damn competitive as we saw, going into last year. So I'm looking forward to this year, man.
For sure. Absolutely. It's going to be a good baseball season. It'll be very interesting. And we got the basketball playoffs coming up. My Brooklyn Nets are going to be in the play-in tournament. They will win that and get into the rounds of the playoffs.
The Pacers, baby, getting that number 1 pick.
Oh, God.
You know it. Hey, we turning it around next year. I'm telling you.
Oh, man, we'll see, man. But anyway, for those of you guys that are watching, we will be back definitely after Easter. We will not be back before Easter. We'll be back right after Easter. We'll let you guys know, but we'll be heavily present on Twitter and interacting with everybody and what have you. So we will be around, but we'll be back after Easter to celebrate our 2-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
Our next episode back will be our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So cannot wait. And in the meantime, thank you guys that have watched. We really appreciate you, and hope you guys have an awesome week. We will be back soon, and look forward to Tommy. We'll see you soon. This wraps up 2 full years.
Yeah, dude.
Of the podcast. So 2-year anniversary, but that technically starts in year 3.
That's crazy, man.
Wow.
We've done a lot of episodes together. A lot of wrestling been watching the last 2 years.
Oh my God. A lot of wrestling, a lot of podcast time for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of hours been put in, and next year is only going to be better.
It's only going to get better from here, man.
So those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. You all have a good night. Happy birthday, Tommy!
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Agility from the champion. That could be it. Delivers this